Let's pivot into main topic today. So yesterday we started down this road of, preparing for AEP. We talked a lot about timelines. So if you guys didn't catch episode 1 of this, it's episode 91. Highly recommend you go listen to that as well. But we talked about timelines, like when should you be doing things? When should you be preparing? We talked a lot about marketing, like how to put together a marketing budget, all of that stuff. But one thing we didn't really get into a lot is, we kind of laid out like the big 3, I would say, of AEP prep. And that's marketing, making sure you have enough lead flow, new clients, acquisition strategies, client retention, and then how to balance those two, because the vast majority of agents, I feel like if they're spending a lot of time and effort on one, they cannot do the other, which is malarkey. It's a limiting belief. So let's start talking about a little bit about client retention, because it is very important, right? Like AEP is a time where you can lose a lot of your business if you're not careful, and if they don't feel like you're valuable to them, or they're just not happy with your service. So I'll start off by saying one thing that does help with client retention is being awesome at your service all year round. I will say that. If they've gone through the year feeling like your service is really subpar, they're kind of waiting for the chance to leave you. Some people.
Yeah.
So I think that cannot be overstated. But then when it comes to retention during AEP, I think if you really want to simplify it, it comes down to how can I do enough touch points, and how can I do it as easily as possible on me and my staff. From 2000, historically, we've always had around a 95% retention rate in our company year over year. Last year, we had a company high of ever that I believe at 97.5% retention rate, which is, I don't know if anybody has that number. I've never heard of such a number so high.
It sounds fake.
I was kind of like, what?
Sounds like a lie.
When I first saw that number, it's a crazy number. I think it just speaks to our agency and what we have in place, but also our team members. Our team members do a fantastic job.
Super strong team.
They're just killing it every day. But we've invested a lot of money. We've invested a ton of money into the systems and the people to make sure that that's in place. But, some of you wonder how we do things. I'll just kind of lay out how we do it, how our typical AEP strategy. I've talked about it before too. It's no secret. Everybody wants to find a way, some secret golden way. I've given you the way. You guys, some of you just don't listen, and then you lose less. You lose more clients than we do.
That's true, though. He really, I will say, being someone that's been on the outside and now on the inside of the agency, I can tell you guys firsthand that I've seen he's shared in the group, in the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Facebook group. He has shared exactly the strategy that he has designed and built for retention for AEP, essentially verbatim. There's really nothing I would say that's being hidden behind closed doors at this point. He's been pretty much 100% transparent, which is crazy, but also true.
It's been developed over the course of a decade. Like, we have tried everything. So here's some things we don't do that some of you might feel like you have to do, and I'll explain why we don't do it. We've tried them before, by the way. We do not do group meetings with clients. We don't do it. Like, some of you will do, like, you'll rent out space, or you'll do this big event, and do this presentation for like 100 of your clients at a time. We don't do that. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'll tell you why we don't do it. We have too many clients, for one. Like, that would be such a huge time investment of the planning and doing them.
Summit part 2.
And number 2, we don't have to do it. We have an easier way. Like, we just do. And it hasn't hurt us one bit by not doing that for years now.
Right.
The second thing we don't do is we do not send out. Some of you are sending out emails and mailers to your clients every year, telling them, you're instructing them, send me your updated drug list and I'll run a drug comparison for you. So let's say you have 10 clients hypothetically, and let's say 5 of them need their drug plan compared. The other 5 are fine. The other 5 are taking like lisinopril and levothyroxine, and they're good. And they're on a WellCare $0 premium drug plan. Like, there's nothing to do, right?
Right.
But by you sending out that communication, you're telling them we have to do this. So they're going to comply. So now you have to do all 10 of them or 9 out of 10 that respond to you. So you're increasing your work. You see what I'm saying there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is what we do. We send out a letter, usually around August, telling them what to expect. I post it in the group every year. You can find every year's version in the group. We send a MedSup letter and an MA letter. We also email out that letter to all the clients we have email addresses for. And the MA letter basically says, open enrollment's coming. We carry every Medicare Advantage plan in your state. If we do, like we send that to our Utah clients. We don't send that to clients in every state. One of our team members is going to be calling you first week of October, and we'll go over your plan changes. And if you need to meet with an agent to have your plan reviewed and changed, we will then facilitate that. But you're going to see a lot of stuff. You're going to see a lot of propaganda. People might even start calling you. Ignore it all. We got you covered, more or less. The MedSup letter says your MedSup's not changing. It's the same plan. Your drug plan might be changing. If we feel like you need to get on a different one, we will let you know. But if you want to have your plan compared, reach out to us. We can do that as well. Then we get all the ANOCs we can in September of the plans where we have lots of clients. Maybe we have 100 clients on one plan, 500 clients on one plan, 600 clients on one plan, 1,000 clients on one plan. We'll get the ANOCs for all the plans we can. We will create a script for what is changing for our staff to go over when they call. We'll also create emails and videos, emails going over bullet points of what's changing, the highlights, and then link to a private video that's on YouTube that only they can see with the link that shares the screen, goes through the ANOC and covers it. It's about 15 to 20 minutes usually each video. And then we schedule those to be emailed out early in the morning on October 1st. That wipes out a lot of people right there because they go through the email, they watch the video, and they're like, I feel like I'm good on my plan. And they'll email back. They'll be like, thank you for this information. I'm good for another year. Mark me down as good. So that saves us from having to call. And then first week of October, we will call all our clients. We used to call 3 times. We used to call 3 times until we've reached everybody if we couldn't get a hold of someone. Nowadays, we call 2. So last AEP was the first time we only called twice because there's so many people now. We have thousands and thousands of internal clients.
Yeah.
We're only calling the MA people, and we're calling MedSup people if their PDP is going to hell. Let's say their PDP is tripling in price. We'll call those people. The rest are by request. And then the MA people, if their plan is not changing much or their plan's still good, the idea of the script is to tell them what's changing, go through it. It's a 5-minute to 10-minute phone call. And then our call to action is if you're still happy with your plan, we still feel like it's a strong one for next year. The plans that are going to hell are placed in a different category, and the intention is to schedule an appointment with an agent to have them revisit their plan. And we're pretty much done, 85%, I'd say, with existing clients by the end of October. We're done.
I think it was even sooner this last AEP, and that's the thing. So I think a lot of this happens with the right preparation, you guys. Which again, the main topic is how do you prepare. Last AEP was interesting because there was so much fear among agents. On the marketing side, with Lead Heroes, when I'm talking to people who've ordered from us every year or every AEP, and going through with them like, hey, what's your plan? Trying to figure out what their marketing plan is, what their budget looks like. There were so many agents who basically just said, I don't even want to take on new clients this AEP. I'm not even going to try to sell new applications. I'm just going to spend my whole AEP, digging a moat around my agency, essentially, is kind of how I viewed it. Like they're just defending the castle. And they were so scared of this idea of, trying to bring on any new clients, because if there's a hole in the ship, they're going to lose all of their existing book. And there's some variance, obviously regionally, that some of you had a much bigger turnover potentially with your book than other parts of the country. So like, obviously this isn't like a blanket for everybody, but I do think that some of you made this decision based on fear. and probably also a lack of preparation, like Christian just outlined there. And again, you can find some of the exact letters that we use at Everything Senior Insurance. You can literally find that here in the group if you search for it. But by doing that preparation and by not being fearful, that now allows for the majority of AEP to be able to be focused on writing new applications. And regardless of how many changes are going on during AEP, that needs to be, where the majority of your time is being spent, in my opinion. Like, yes, retention is important. Yes, you don't want to, have an AEP where you're all of a sudden you lost 20% of your book or something horrific like that. Obviously, yes, I'm totally in favor of that. But the flip side of it is to, basically set new business aside during the most valuable time of the year, where you can write the most business possible during this annual enrollment period, essentially just out of fear of losing your book. It's just not the right strategy, you guys. You gotta have a better mindset.